In the sun-drenched landscapes of Western Australia, a young girl named Alara spent her childhood wandering through the fragrant scrubland. She was a quiet observer, her eyes drawn to the delicate beauty of the native orchids that bloomed with the seasons. She knew the spider orchids with their spindly insect-like petals, and the donkey orchids that looked as if they had long, floppy ears. Her grandmother would tell her stories of these flowers, but there was one tale that captured her imagination more than any other. It was the legend of an orchid that no one ever saw, a flower that lived its entire life buried beneath the red earth, a true ghost of the bush. Alara dreamed of one day finding this mysterious plant, a living treasure hidden from the world. This was not just a child's fantasy. The flower she dreamed of is real. It is the Western Australian underground orchid, known to scientists as Rhizanthella gardneri. This plant is one of nature's most extraordinary creations, a botanical enigma that defies almost everything we think we know about how plants are supposed to live. It spends its entire existence, from germination to flowering and setting seed, in complete darkness, several inches below the soil surface. Unlike its colorful cousins that reach for the sunlight, this orchid has no need for the sun, for it has no leaves and produces no chlorophyll. It is a pale, almost spectral being, a secret kept by the earth itself. For decades, the underground orchid was more myth than reality, known only from a handful of accidental discoveries. Farmers plowing their fields or workers clearing land would sometimes unearth its strange, fleshy flower head, a cluster of tiny, inward-facing, reddish-purple florets encased in white bracts, resembling a small subterranean artichoke. Its discovery in 1928 by a farmer named Jack Trott sent ripples through the botanical world. How could a plant survive without light? How did it get its food? The quest to understand this floral phantom had begun, inspiring generations of naturalists and scientists, and fueling the dreams of young explorers like Alara, who imagined themselves as the ones to solve its many mysteries. The allure of the underground orchid lies in its profound secrecy. It is a symbol of the hidden wonders that still exist in our world, reminders that nature's ingenuity is far greater than we can often comprehend. Finding one requires not just luck, but a deep understanding of the subtle signs of the ecosystem it inhabits. You cannot search for a flower you cannot see. Instead, you must learn to read the landscape, to understand the relationships between the soil, the fungi, and the low-lying shrubs that act as its guardians. For Alara, the dream of finding it was a dream of understanding this hidden world, a connection to the deepest, most invisible life forces of the Australian bush. The underground orchid is a master of adaptation, a plant that has evolved to thrive in a world without light. Because it does not photosynthesize, it has no need for green leaves, stems, or any of the structures we typically associate with plant life. Instead, it is a pale, fleshy organism, its colors ranging from ghostly white to a faint pinkish hue. The most remarkable part of the plant is its flower head, or capitulum. This structure pushes its way up to just beneath the soil's surface, sometimes causing a small crack in the earth. The flower head contains up to 100 tiny, deep red florets, all pointing inwards toward a central cavity, and they release a sweet, strong perfume to attract their pollinators, likely tiny insects that live within the soil and leaf litter. The secret to the orchid's survival is a remarkable and intricate partnership with two other organisms. It is a freeloader in a complex three-way relationship. The orchid itself is a parasite, but not on a plant. Instead, it attaches itself to a specific type of mycorrhizal fungus, a web of thread-like hyphae that spreads through the soil. This fungus, belonging to the Thanatophorus genus, acts as a bridge. It, in turn, forms a symbiotic relationship with the roots of a particular shrub that grows above ground, the broom honey myrtle, or Melaleuca uncinata. The Melaleuca bush creates energy from sunlight through photosynthesis, and the fungus draws nutrients from the bush to survive. This arrangement creates a vital pipeline of energy. The Melaleuca bush feeds the fungus, and the fungus in turn feeds the orchid. The orchid essentially steals the nutrients that the fungus has taken from the host bush, allowing it to grow and flower without ever seeing the sun. This dependency is absolute. Without the specific Melaleuca bush, and without the specific thread-like fungus, the underground orchid simply cannot exist. This delicate triangular relationship makes the orchid incredibly specialized and confines it to the shrinking patches of remnant bushland where its two partners can be found living together. It is a life lived entirely on borrowed energy. This unique biology makes Rhizanthella gardneri one of the rarest and most sought-after orchids in the world. Its existence challenges our very definition of what a plant is and how it can function. It is not a producer but a consumer, living like a subterranean mushroom yet flowering like an orchid. The process of its seed dispersal is also shrouded in mystery. In eastern Australia, related species are known to be eaten and dispersed by small marsupials like bandicoots and wallabies. However, these animals are now locally extinct in the Western Australian habitats of Rhizanthella gardneri, leaving scientists to wonder how or if its seeds are still able to travel and establish new colonies. The very specialization that makes the underground orchid so fascinating also makes it critically vulnerable. Its existence is balanced on a knife's edge, and this delicate balance is being catastrophically disrupted by human activity. The primary threat, and the one that has pushed the species to the brink of extinction, is habitat loss. Vast swaths of the Western Australian wheatbelt, the orchid's home, have been cleared for agriculture, urban development, and infrastructure like highways. With each patch of Melaleuca scrubland that is bulldozed, the orchid, its host bush, and its fungal partner are wiped out, leaving it with fewer and fewer safe havens. It is a refugee in its own land. On top of this relentless habitat destruction, the orchid faces the growing menace of a changing climate. The region is experiencing rising temperatures and more erratic rainfall patterns, which place immense stress on the entire ecosystem. The Melaleuca host bush, though hardy, struggles during prolonged droughts, and if the host plant dies, the fungal network collapses, and the orchid starves. Furthermore, a hotter, drier climate increases the frequency and intensity of wildfires. A devastating fire swept through one of the few known Rhizanthella habitats in 2022. While the Melaleuca and the fungus showed some resilience, recovering within 2 years, fires that occur too frequently could destroy the orchid's seed bank and prevent it from ever re-emerging. The population numbers paint a grim picture of this decline. In the late 1990s, the total known population was estimated at around 180 individual plants across a few sites. Recent surveys have been devastating, with some searches finding as few as 3 plants, and in some cases, none at all. The wild populations have collapsed. This is a silent extinction, happening out of sight beneath our feet. The disappearance of small mammals that may have once dispersed its seeds has also broken a critical link in its life cycle, isolating the remaining populations and preventing them from colonizing new, suitable habitats, even if they were available. This combination of threats has created a perfect storm. The orchid is trapped in tiny, fragmented pockets of its former range, each one an island in a sea of farmland. These small populations are highly susceptible to random events, whether it's a fire, a localized drought, or the accidental damage from clearing. Without its interconnected web of life, the bush above and the fungus below, the ghost of the earth has nowhere to go. It is a stark reminder that the destruction of an ecosystem is not just about the trees we can see, but also about the intricate, invisible world we can so easily destroy. Faced with the imminent extinction of this botanical marvel, scientists are engaged in a desperate race against time. Conservation efforts are proceeding on 2 critical fronts: protecting the orchid in its natural habitat and attempting to create a lifeline through cultivation in the laboratory. Protecting the remaining sites is paramount. This involves managing the land to prevent fires, control invasive species, and, most importantly, stop any further clearing of the Melaleuca scrubland that serves as the orchid's life support system. Public awareness campaigns, like the one launched at the prestigious Chelsea Flower Show in May 2025, are crucial for highlighting the orchid's plight and gathering global support for its conservation. The second front is a bold and ambitious scientific endeavor. Led by Professor Kingsley Dixon, a team of researchers is working to replicate the orchid's complex 3-way symbiosis in a controlled lab environment. This is an incredibly challenging task. The first step, which was successfully achieved in 2025, involved isolating and cultivating the specific mycorrhizal fungus that the orchid depends on. The team is now growing the Melaleuca uncinata host bushes in their laboratories, with the fungus introduced to their root systems. The final, most crucial step will be to introduce stored seeds of the underground orchid and hope that they germinate, creating the world's first ex situ population. This work is fraught with difficulty and carries the weight of past failures. A previous captive collection established in the 1990s was tragically lost around the year 2000 due to a simple human error, a heartbreaking setback that underscores the fragility of such efforts. However, the new attempt is armed with more advanced technology and a deeper understanding of the orchid's biology. Success would provide an insurance policy for the species, a backup population that could one day be used to reintroduce the orchid back into protected, restored habitats in the wild, safeguarding it from complete annihilation. It is a meticulous, painstaking process, but it may be the orchid's only hope. Saving the underground orchid is about more than just preserving a single curious plant. It is about protecting the intricate web of life and the wonders of evolution that it represents. Species like Rhizanthella gardneri are living libraries of genetic information and biological strategies that have developed over millennia. They hold secrets that could unlock new understandings in medicine, agriculture, and ecology. Allowing such a unique life form to vanish would be an irreversible loss for science and for humanity. It would signify a failure to protect the planet's biodiversity, a failure to appreciate that the most valuable treasures are often the ones we cannot easily see. The fight to save this hidden gem is a testament to our responsibility to be stewards of all life, both visible and invisible.